This is Hino's Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. All right. I figure let me talk about this Terrence Crawford debacle and this Terrence Crawford situation, man. I figure I'd give my take on it because at the end of the day, you guys know me, man. I like to focus on the sweet science aspect of boxing, but sometimes you got to talk about the financials because at the end of the day, these guys, they get paid big bucks. You know what I'm saying? They get paid money. You know what I'm saying? And these guys, they risk their lives on the line. It's prize fighting. It's not just prize fighting from the aspect of them basically, getting a prize, which is the belt, but it's also from the aspect of them making money, taking care of their families. So on to the video. Yeah, gotta talk about it. Damn, boy, I can't believe it's hot up in Alaska, man. That thing done got hot, man. It's in the 70s now, man. Man, I'm telling you, this thing crazy. Whew. I have to start wearing probably a tank top or some shit, man. Damn it. But anyways, on to the video, bruh. Listen, man. Terrence Crawford, and I gotta explain this. I told you, him and Bomac, those Negroes don't know how to count their money. Let me say that again. Those Negroes do not know how to count their money. How you sit here and you are the #1 pound for pound fighter. You've been considered #1 pound for pound right there with the likes of Vasily Lomachenko, right there with the likes of Canelo, Cinnamon Alvarez, right? I mean, interchangeably, these guys are 1, 2, and 3, but Terrence Bud Crawford's been #1 for a minute, hot minute. And then you getting only $3.5 million. Not only that, let's forget that part. Let's talk about Bob Arum basically shelving you and telling you that you're not a pay-per-view star. This is a guy that was undisputed at 140 pounds, folks. This is why I don't understand why he re-signed with Bob Arum and Top Rank. And, when I mentioned this, folks sat here and said, oh, you can't make this about color and blah, 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 blah. You guys could read between the lines, man. Look at Vasily Lomachenko. Look at Tyson Fury, man. Tyson Fury just made $12 million in his last fight against a guy who was ranked number 56 at the heavyweight division. Is Tyson Fury a undisputed champion at 140? Now, the argument's going to be like, well, he was lineal champion at heavyweight division. Okay, I understand that. And I get where people are coming from with that argument. But he gave up his lineal championship. Terrence Bud Crawford didn't give his up. Terrence Bud Crawford just decided to move up. Something has to be said for one guy that's been mentally fragile, right? Had to take time off, come back, because he finally got his mind right, supposedly. We don't know, because you know how it is with people. You just kind of got to wait and see if the train wreck or the train ride is going to unravel. And if that is the case and it does unravel, then it is what it is. But the point that I'm trying to make is this, man. Tyson Fury was a train wreck. He needed to take time off from boxing. He comes back. He fights Deontay Wilder. Got clipped twice. But people are sitting here and making it seem like it was the greatest win since sliced bread. The man sat here and almost fought a nearly perfect fight and got clipped twice. Now imagine if Deontay Wilder uses a stiff jab, which he's been perfecting with J. Diaz, in the rematch. Just like it started with Dominic Brazil. What do you think the rematch is going to look like? This is why I told people 4 to 5 rounds KO stoppage. But let's get back to Terrence Bud Crawford. So we're going to sit here and say that Tyson Fury is the premier fighter for Top Rank. After Terrence Bud Crawford has been there way longer than Tyson Fury and has been delivering you wins after wins after wins, we're going to sit here and say, Bob Arum, you called Terrence Crawford a unique fighter like a Sugar Ray Leonard. That's what you compared him with. But you're going to shelf him. Okay. Does that make any sense to you guys? A guy that was undisputed at 140 pounds, making $3.5 million, which I told you at minimum at this stage of his career, because let's keep it real. Terrence Bud Crawford doesn't have 10 more years in his career. Possibly maybe 5, 6 at best at an elite level. Then after that, he becomes over the hill. Then Top Rank is going to try to figure out how they're going to use him as a trash bin, right? And throw him away like he's dumped. Because that's what they're going to do. We've seen what Bob Arum does when a fighter is over the hill and a fighter's past his prime. All he got to do is look at his biggest and most prized possession fighter that he made the most money off of, Manny Pacquiao. Look at the way he chewed and spit him out at the end of his run when he became AARP retirement Pac-Man style. But, and mind you, Pac-Man, when he was at elite status, at least he was getting pay-per-view after pay-per-view after pay-per-view. Pac-Man was never undisputed. But Pac-Man was sitting there and getting paid. You know, even though he was getting robbed, he was still getting paid way better than what Terrence Bud Crawford is getting paid. This is what I'm talking about here, man. Him and Bo Mac, I don't understand these Negroes, man. I don't understand why they didn't understand that re-signing with Top Rank was not the right move for them. Look at what they're being given. They're being given leftovers here, man. They fought a lame duck in Jeff Horn, who we all know was a piece of trash. Basically, he was there for the taking. Then he fought a one-legged Jose Benavidez. I don't care what anybody tell me. If Jose Benavidez had 2 legs, that's a possible loss on Terrence Bud Crawford's resume. Then he turns around and fights in a Miracon past 5 years past his prime. Now, because Bob Arum is delusional and thinks in his mind that the fight between Errol Spence and Terrence Bud Crawford is 50-50. I think he came up with this new scenario, 45-45-10, and basically it's a 45-45 split, and the winner gets the additional 10%. Are you freaking kidding me? Errol Spence is going to show you why you should have went with 60-40. Now you basically are going to have a Terrence Bud Crawford that may possibly not get an Errol Spence fight. Not because Errol Spence is ducking him. It's because Errol Spence is clearly the number one guy on that side of the negotiation of the table. I mean, we can't sit here and be ignorant to the fact, you know, and be just boxing fans and want to see these two fight and not understand the financials. The financials are very simple. Errol Spence is about to unify with Sean Porter. Once he gets that belt, we're not even talking about 60-40. This is a 70-30 split. And then he turns around and let's say he fights the winner of Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman. Now that's like an 80-20 split, man. Bud is really screwed. This is why they should have took the 60-40 split, folks. I don't understand why they didn't do that. That just didn't make any sense to me. But this is what we're dealing with in the sport of boxing. We're dealing with a Terrence Bud Crawford that made the worst decision. And he's regretting it. You could tell he's regretting it. Because why did he re-sign with Top Rank? What did he gain out of that? You know what I'm saying? What was going to be the benefactor in doing that? That just don't make no sense to me, folks. You're heavily underpaid. You're not getting pay-per-view fights. And you're not even getting the fights that you want. And now your next possible opponent, which could have been Kell Brook, but we all know Errol Spence retired his ass. Because that's the thing. It's a recurring thing. When you fight Errol Spence, you get retired, right? Now Terrence Bud Crawford is possibly going to fight a guy named Mean Machine. I don't feel sorry for Bud, man. That's on him. That's him and Bo Mac. That's them Negroes not knowing how to count their money. Because when you know how to count your money and you know your value, you would have been with PBC. They would have took care of you. I told you, Al Heyman would have given Terrence Bud Crawford a bigger red carpet than he's been giving Errol Spence. Look at Errol Spence right now. He's sitting there. Errol Spence said, I want pay-per-view. And damn near he deserves it. Because look at the numbers with Mikey Garcia. That's impressive in today's boxing. People will say, well, he fought with Mikey Garcia. But Errol Spence is a namesake too, you idiots. Errol Spence is an exciting fighter, you idiots. He's a fan favorite style fighter that just happens to have tactical aggression and strategic punching placement with his fan favorite style. So what are folks talking about here? What are we talking about here, folks? Terrence Bud Crawford made an erroneous decision in re-signing with Top Rank. See, and this is where folks look at the short term instead of the long term. Oh yeah, I'm getting a consistent check of 3.5, but you're really not getting 3.5 because you got to give a third to your promoter. Then you got to give money to Bo Mac, who technically is your manager. Well, he's going to get 15, 20%, probably getting 20%, maybe even 30%. Who knows? He might be highway robbering you. And then he's your trainer on top of that, so you got to pay him. So at the end of every fight, you probably walk away with maybe $1.25 million. So really, is that a real good deal? And then that's not including IRS taxing your ass. Shit, you might not even be at $1 million. So this is what I'm talking about, man. And then Bob Arum says, okay, here's a $525,000 IRS tax bill. You go and pay for it. I'm not going to take care of that for you. See, this is the stuff that I'm talking about, folks. Terrence Bud Crawford has done himself a disservice when he re-signed with Top Rank. And do I feel sorry for him? No, I don't. Because when your next opponent is going to be Mean Machine and Earl Spencer's next opponent is Sean Porter, what does that tell you about the decisions that you made? But you sitting here saying, Earl Spencer's ducking me and we're waiting on the Spence fight. Are you freaking kidding me? Is it that you made the wrong decision and you're paying for the decisions of your actions? Could it be that? You and Bomac? Come on, man. Folks got to keep it a buck here, man. So, Terrence Crawford, you get the biggest higgity hush of the damn day. This is He Knows the Sport. Checking out.